morning to one and all. This is Dr. P. Lavanya, working as Associate Professor in MBA Department in Aeronautical Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal. So, the last topics we have seen some videos relating to the managerial economics. So, in that we have seen regarding the last video, what we have seen is regarding short-run production function and also the long-run production function. So, in the short-run production function, we have seen that due to the time limit, only one is the variable factor, and in the long-run production function, we have seen as the time is moved, so all the factors of production are variable. So, in case of these long-run production function, when the production was extended or due to the period of more time is available to us, so all the factors, that is land, labor, capital, each and every factor of production was increased or decreased, means varied. So based upon that, the organization has been enjoyed some sort of economics. Already we have discussed. That is, economics means advantages. So, in case of long-run production function, when the law, what we have seen in the long-run production function was law of returns to scale. In the law of returns to scale, we have got three stages. One is increasing returns, second one is constant returns, and third one is decreasing returns. As we have been identified that an increasing returns occurs, we enjoys the economies of scales, means various advantage. When the firm has increased its production, so it was enjoying some sort of advantage, which is called as economies of scales. So when you comes as a constant returns, these economies of scales come to at a constant state, means the production whatever we increase reach to the certain limit. So where the economies cannot increase, so they are very constant, and we got the second stage, that is constant returns to scale. And third one, we got the third stage in returns to scale, that is negative returns, in that all the economies what we enjoyed in the increasing returns to scale and in the constant return to scale was exhausted. Though we increased more, goes on increasing the production or the factors of the production, the organization was able to face diseconomies, means some disadvantages. Why? Because every organization can have its advantages to certain limit only. After that limit, the production cannot be extended because the internal amenities what we are having will be encloses or closes there. So after that also, though we increased the factors of production, we can't go for enjoying the economics. Instead of having these advantages, our organization will face the disadvantages, what is called as diseconomies of scales. So this is a thing what we have learned in the last videos relating to the large scale production. So relating to these economies and the diseconomies, we'll discuss elaborately in this session. So as we know that, first we'll see what is economies of the scale, then we'll go for the diseconomies of the scale. So as we know that whatever the scale of production, maybe small or large, the firms carry out its production. When the production means what we have seen in the large scale production or in the long run, we want to increase the production. So when I want to expand the production size, so automatically in the long run, what we will do, all factors in the production we want to increase. So such that due to the increase of land, labor and all amenities, organizations will have some advantages which we will call as economies of scale. So first we'll see what are the advantages does that organization will enjoy when the production was increased or when all factors of the production was increased. So for that, the writer Marshall has been classified these economies of the scale in the large scale production into internal economies and external economies. Internal means within the organization. Within the organization or internal to the firm. Or internal to the firm. Means what an organization was trying to enjoy or by the increasing of one organizational production, internally what type of advantages does an organization will enjoys will be studied in the internal economies. When you comes from the external economies, these economies are those which we are able to enjoy by group of firms. Not only one firm will enjoy due to the external environment. What we can changes in the political, maybe financial or other environment. All the firms which are group of firms means all the firms which are enjoying those advantages or we'll call like industry. So the total industry will have some advantage. So that type of advantage what an organization will enjoy in an industry, we can call it like external economies. So first we'll see what are the internal economies and also we go for the external economies. So the internal economies means these are open to a single factory or a single firm, but as they are independently by the action of the other firm. Means these are only what I have been discussed is internally. Only the surroundings or within the organization itself, they are able to enjoy these advantages. These are the result of an increase in the scale of output. Means once the production was increased in the firm, then we are able to enjoy these advantages. And it cannot be achieved unless the output was increased. Means here the advantages will enjoy the internally only when the output was increased. If output was not increased due to the increasing of all internal factors, we can't enjoy the internal economies. So we have to say that the internal economies are only to certain firm and are independently used, and these are enjoyed only when one firm internally increases its production. So hence these are solely depends upon the size of the firm. Means what is the capacity of the firm in firm's production, we can say that is the size. Maybe 10,000 units, 1 lakh unit, 50,000 units, 30,000 units. So based upon the size of the firm, the internally economies will be differ. Maybe this will be differ to the different firms. Means if all the firms, maybe two firms are there who have been increase the production. Means both firms cannot enjoy the same type of economies. So one will enjoy one type of economies and another will enjoy in the another type of economies, where we can't say that both have the common. So that's why due to the change in the size of the firm, the economies will be enjoyed and that economies will be different to the different firms. So when you come about external economies, so what we are saying, these are the benefits which are shared by total industry or number of firms. Means when a group of firms comes together, all the firms will enjoy some sort of advantages. So that enjoying of these advantages, we are able to identify in case of external economies. Means when the scale of production was extended or increased by all the firms, not only one firm. Maybe we can take like a cement industry. So once the cement industry, when it was increases the production, all the cement industries relating to that area increase the production, all will enjoy the advantages. Means that industry will enjoy this sort of advantage. That type of benefit we used to call as an external economies of scale. So hence these external economies will also benefited by the firm within the industry as the size of the industry expands. So as we know, the internal economies only when the size of the firm expands, but in case of external economies, total industry expand. Means I can't take like a one firm like Bharati Cement. For example, when you take a cement industry, a Bharati Cement, when it expand its internal production, it enjoys the internal economies because it expanded internally. But when the total cement industries are expanded its capacities, then automatically all these industries, maybe Bharati, KCP, other cement industries, all the industries will enjoy the advantages. That we'll call it as an external economies. So first we'll see here about internal economies, and first we'll see what are the causes of these internal economies and types of internal economies. So first we comes across what is the cause of internal economies. So internal economies are generally caused due to the two factors. One is indivisibility and specialization. So first we'll see what is an indivisibility. So indivisibility means it is an individual. So the production or the proportionate to the different one industry relating to a particular thing, or individually we can sense the differentiation, or we can have fixed the minimum size, means one industry what type of production or what type of units to be produced. As a separate, we can identify the internal economies. So we can't say that all of them will comes under here. Only one industry having its individuality, we can sense the causes of internal economies. So here, if for example, what do you mean by the indivisibility means here when worker works half a day, for example, when a worker is working for a full day, but today he worked half a day, then the payment will pay for him will be half only. Maybe per day when you have been chosen paying of 500 rupees, but he worked only for half day, then I'll pay only 250 rupees. But we can't say that worker to complete the work only half and go. We ask him to do whatever the work he is doing individually, that to be completed. Means the output increases the individual factors which we are using the below capacity can be utilized full capacities, due to which the cost reduction will be taken place. Means we'll ask that person to complete it. Maybe the total production one person may done per a day of 500 units, but we'll ask him to complete 250 units or 3 units. But we can't ask him to do half of the production. Yes. So that's why here what happens here, we are using the capacity. That capacity will help us to reduce the cost. So such type of individuality will be arised in case of maybe the labor utilization of labor, maybe machinery, maybe marketing sense, finance sense, or maybe the research sense. So means we can't say that individuality availability only in one area, but it will have, we can use them maybe in utilization of the labor and the utilization of the machinery, maybe marketing our product, maybe getting the finance or financial availabilities and research and other facilities. And next we comes across the specialization. So specialization means where we can say like individual expertization in one area. So specialization is like expertization, that is in which area we are expert. So here the economies or individual economies will leads us relating to division of labor. Means what sort of division means the labor will get doing the same type of work for number of the times, the labor will get expertized. So due to that expertization, lot of internal advantages we are able to get within the production. So which leads to cause some sort of internal economies. Means this specialization will causes us some sort of internal economies. Here specializations refers to the limitations of activities within a particular field of production. Means we can't say this specialization means totally specialized. Only one type of activity or one area can get specialization. All areas, all people cannot get the specialization. Maybe we can identify that this specialization may be in case of labor, capital, or maybe machinery, or any other place. Means any one or two specializations the people can get, but they can't get all type. That is one of the limitations. Means all activities cannot be specialized. Only one or two activities could be specialized within the organization. Here, for example, if you take the production process, which may be spelled, maybe we have different types of departments within the organization. So these departments are relation to maybe like manufacturing departments, assembling department, packing, and also marketing under different managers who are working overall there. Means every department is headed by the separate managers may be having some in charges and general managers who has to coordinate the work. Means manufacturing departments having one head manager and they will coordinate their work. And in the same way, marketing department, another managers and other people will be there. They'll coordinate one and the another. Thus, this specialization means the people who are in the department get marketing. The people will get more specialized in sending the goods outside, estimation of the markets, maybe identifying the need of the market. So, in these ways, these managers or the heads who are present there, those people can get specialized, means they can get expertized such that this leads to the greater productivity, efficiency, and also leads to the decrease in the or reduction of the cost. Means once we get specialization, we try to increase the production and we try to increase the efficiency and also reduction of the cost. So in this ways, the specialization and individuality are the two common factors which leads to the economies of scales internally. So now we go for seeing what are the different types of internal economies, what an organization will enjoy. So in that we'll have the first one, we'll call it like technical economies. So what do you mean by technical economies? Means where we use the machineries, technologies, all other things. Means the machine oriented work when you do, where this will happen, it will take place in the factory. So these technical economies, what are they? So by increasing of the production within the organization, what type of advantages we can get under technical side, maybe in machineries, technologies and other things, we can identify as one of the factor in internal economies. So these technical economies which are arising to the firm, maybe in utilization, that is a better utilization of the machineries, means we can utilize the machinery very best. Why? Because sometimes some organizations where we are having the machinery where the capacity is more. For example, when you own any sort of a plastic production machinery, once the machinery is started, the firm may gives us within a time period of 1 hour, the machine will work on and it will provide 100 plastic oriented goods. But when our raw material or our whatever we prepared is very less, then automatically what happens? This less amount, maybe it will work for 1 hour, but we'll get only 50 or 60 due to the amount of low raw material. But when you have been prepared a whole for raw material like 100 preparation of these plastic goods, automatically what happens? The machinery capacity is fully used such that we can decrease the cost. Maybe the same time, same cost will be happen for preparation of 60 plastic materials or maybe the 100 plastic materials. So in this sense, what happens? So if you go for 100, we can utilize the capacity and we can decrease the total cost of the product. So as a result of that, production increases and unit cost will also be false. What I have been explaining that maybe if I produced more, automatically what happens? We can decrease the cost of production. So here the large firms which employs costly superior plant and also and equipment enjoys a technical superiority over a small firm. Another technical economy lies in the mechanical advantage or using large machineries. Means here, and the technical economies, as we have seen that these large firms where their employees or the working pattern is very costly and superior, so these will enjoys or accepts more these internal economies. And technical economy lies in the mechanical advantages and while utilizing in the large type of machineries. Next, so what are the things we can identify by these technical economies? Means the cost of operating these large machineries will be less than operating a small machinery. So we are able to identify that when we operate a small machinery, the cost will be the same. When you operate large machinery, the production will increases more. Due to that, the cost will also be decrease. And moreover, large firms was able to reduce its per unit cost production by linking various process of production. Means when you have been considered what example I do, like a plastic production. So when we take the type of raw materials what we prepared will be the same, but the product what comes is linking it various processes. Maybe with the help of raw material of plastic, we are able to do plates, we are able to do chairs, benches, many other things we can manufacture with the help of plastic. So in this case, what happens here, when we have linked the production one with the another, we are able to, with the same type of machineries or the same type of raw material, able to produce 2 to 3 products, which will reduces the unit cost of production. And at the same way, these technical economies can also be associated in the large firms by utilization of its waste materials and developing the byproducts of the industries. Here we can say that these economies help us to identify that what are the different types of waste materials. Means the waste identification help us to produce the byproduct. Maybe we can say the sugar cane. So with that, whatever the pulp we are getting, we are able to go for the byproduct like gunny bags and other types of byproducts, and it was become as a one of the industry. These raw byproducts are coming from these, or the waste from the sugar cane has become as a byproduct in industries. And here the scope of specialization in the technical economies, when the production was increases and total capacity of the machineries or utilizing, automatically what happens here, the scope or the specialization in the long firms will also be there, and this increases the total productivity of the firm and leads to the unit, that is reduction of cost of production. Once the specialization comes, we do automatically production will take place very fast, very large. We know it very well, then we can go for what is required to do there. If we don't know, it will take a lot of time to produce a production. So once we go on production, automatically the larger scale industries where the specialization increases, with that it was able to increase the productivity and helps in reduction of cost. So the technical economies is one of the important economies emerged in case of internal economies. And the next one becomes under internal economies or the managerial economies. So the managerial economics means management or the managing of the resources, how the managers or the other people will manage the different types of resources in the organization. So the economies arises due to this managerial was elaborate the management only the large places or the large organizations can afford. Means different types of specialized folds, HR, junior HR. If the firm is very large, we are able to identify one HR manager, junior HR manager, both will assess the workers how, what they are doing and what is their requirement. If firm is very small, may they appoint some HR manager or may not, they will appoint the HR manager. So if the increase of the firm will help us to elaborate, means there is a lot of scopes for management in case of large firms. So this managerial economies where we can have get it under separate heads, means with a separate specialization positions where we have manufacturing, assembling, packing, marketing, general administration. Means different departments want to keep some heads or managers to manage their work differently. Means they will keep in charge. One manufacturing manager will be there who look after the total manufacturing. One package manager will be there. They will see how the packing was taking place and what are the things to be done. So marketing manager who to look after the total marketing. Means expertized people could be appointed due to the increase of the production. Hence, this appointment of expertised people leads to the appointing or taking into the organization expertised people. Division of administration means total administration or total workload cannot be headed under one person. So the work has been spreaded such that everybody will do their work quick and most efficiently, which will gives the management in a most efficient manner. Only when the division of work takes place only, the management will work very efficiently. If one person hand over all the work, he was unable to do this or that, and the total work will be stops. So that's why these managerial economics help for internal efficiency of the organization and management efficiently taken place in the large organizations. Next, the another economies which comes in the internal economies was marketing economies. As we know that marketing which deals with the external environment means it does not have internally. So where we have to identify external buyers, customers, suppliers. So we should identify the market in the external area. So the large firms was able to reap the marketing or commercial economies. Maybe when we are buying its requirement or selling of the product means the buying category and selling category. So whenever large scale production is there, I can buy a lump sum of raw material with a less cost. Yes, sir. Maybe if I want one or two items, the organizations or the manufacturers will provide with more cost. But when I have been ordered a large amount of raw material, automatically what happens? The cost will also be decreased. And other amenities may be like the traveling charges for these raw materials, warehousing, go down charges. So all will also be decreases when I purchased or buy the materials in a lump sum. And at the same way, the marketing economies also will enjoy while selling our final product. Means when I want to market the product, the cost is less and we want to extend the markets and the traveling facilities or the marketing people, whatever we keep in the external market, will have some advantages. By selling in lump sum amount, the total production will go within a short period of time and easily the production will reach to the market. So that's why these marketing economies, that is internal buying of the raw materials and externally selling the final product, will also be one of the advantage of the organization. So here the large firms where they are generally having a separate marketing departments, as we know, and we can buy and sell on behalf of that marketing departments, which we have that trend of favorability. Means we have forecasting. The marketing department will forecast. So what the people are liking, what required in the market. So based upon that, these marketing departments will sell or buy the products. So in this matter, they will enjoy many type of advantages, maybe like preferential treatment. When I am providing any product in a faster sense, when I asked, the delivery is very fast, then the customers or the buyers were so happy and they are ready to purchase the product. At the same way, fast transportation, when we send or bring the materials or the final product in lump sum basis, the transportation concession will be there. Yes, means the cost will be decreases and we are able to, the suppliers or the creditors will provide us the cheaper credit and the delivery will be prompt. So we have a good relations. Along with that, we used to have the good relations with the marketing people. So these are the some type of additional advantages what the marketing economies will provide us. Similarly, it sells its product more efficiently with higher rate of margins. When everything is good and we are providing on time, maybe we charge a more profit also. The organization or the customer was ready to take. Maybe nowadays we are seeing these online deliveries. Yes, sir. So we need not go to the showroom and purchase the product. So they themselves are delivering to our doorsteps. Automatically what is happening? They are charging some delivery charges. So but we never mind regarding that. Why? Because my time is saved as they themselves are delivering the product. So similarly, when we enjoy, the large firms are enjoying the marketing economies, the organizations will face higher margin of profits. Then next, we have the financial economics. Another internal one is the financial economics. So the large firms is able to secure the necessary finance, either maybe the block capital purpose or for the working capital needs easily and cheaper. Block capital purpose in the sense like a long-term purpose, so which we are utilizing for the capital budgeting process, and for day-to-day activities, maybe for payment of raw materials, salaries. So day-to-day we require some amount of the money which should be kept in our hand, that is called as working. For both long-term and short-term needs, we are able to get the finance very easily. Why? Because when the production increases and we are having name and fame, goodwill will be there in the external market. So we can borrow, or the bankers or the other financial institutions are very ready to provide due to our name and fame, such that when we take more amount from those banks for longer production or maybe larger production, when the credit was more, automatically they will provide us in a cheaper rates. So in this way we are able to enjoy the financial economies, where we can get easily credit in the market for required purposes or the required extension of the production at a cheaper rate due to these financial economies. And next, we can come across seeing like risk bearing economies, another one. So as we have seen that the risk is spread wherever, as we know the risk and return. So the financial concept, what we have is risk and return. So once there is a large scale of risk, the return will also be more. When I'm ready to enhance the risk, then I will supposed to get more rate of return. When I'm not at all ready to take the risk, the return will also be less. A small example, maybe we can say like when I want to get a money, maybe I'm having 1 lakh rupees with me. So I want to invest the money. So I don't want to take any sort of risk. I want save. Then automatically I'll go to the bank. Maybe banker gives me 50 paisa or 1 rupee interest. With that I'll satisfy. There is no risk. Why? Because the banker will safely keep the money, but he will give me very, very less interest. But when I'm in a risk bearer, I want to face the risk. Then invest in stock market, invest in shares, debentures or any other. Automatically the risk will be more and the return will also be more. So by spreading means here risk is spread overall the organization, maybe in the production process, selling, purchasing, each and everywhere, the risk is widely spread. So therefore we can observe any shocks for that extent. Means we are able to identify that the based upon our risk category, we are able to get the shock. Sometimes by taking the risk, it will become an advantage. Sometimes that will become as a disadvantage also. But when you take, for example, of the business depression period, where the depression means falling prices. So all the prices for the commodity will be false, and the market fluctuations will also more when you of a particular product in case of depression. So what happens here? The risk bearing is very, very high. The risk incidences will be very high. So when mine is in a large scale production, automatically what happens? I am able to enhance the risk through different phases and able to survive in the depression period also. So which is very much essential for the firms in order to enhance the business risk. Means by having these risk bearing economies, where the business was able to face the business crisis. If you don't have, the production is not large, very small. Maybe we see the COVID situation where many firms are closed down. Small, medium firms are unable to survive due to the lockdown position. So once again, the government has given a lifting hand for them to start their production. So when mine is a large scale economies, automatically I have some methods or the ways where I can enhance or able to tactical the risk within the organization. So I'm very much favorable to face the business risk. So the internal economies also provide us to get these risk bearing economies. And another one is like economies of research. So as we find out, these large firms possess larger resources and establish its own, maybe when the production more, everything is more, we want to give improved product, improved variety, or I want to change some features. Why? Because in the market we require some sustainability, so we should stand in the market. Only the same product production and giving, the customers will get more. And at the same way, the customers always the taste preference and everything will be changing, and their requirements will also be changing. So based upon that, we want to give some research facilities or the research labs such that new type of products would be produced, or experimentally the people will trained and research, they will do research and they will give us a new type of production. So maybe for example, when we see these type of commercial products like soaps, paste, maybe when we identify these paste, maybe for uh, teeth cleaning, toothpaste, so we are able to identify that lot of things that is called maybe gel, max fresh, charcoal. So different things are they are being establishing and telling that they are very good for health, or this will be make some another feature or an improved product. So these improved product or the new type of feature will come while when we do the research laboratory experiment with the help of trained research workers. Then this makes the organization to invent a new product or the new variety or the new feature of the product, which will increase our output and leads to the reduction of cost. Next, and another type of economies like economies of welfare. So internally, when the production was large and producing good, specialization was there, then the profits for the organization will also be more. If profits are good, then organization, people or the workers are ready to provide a good internal working conditions, or outside, inside or outside of the factory, as we know. So like canteen facilities internally, water facilities, good washroom facilities, maybe for the women employees, whatever they're like crutches and fans creation, or sometimes when it was very large like Tata company and other companies where they are ready to provide the housing facilities and providing free educations to their children who was working in the organization. And sometimes the organizations will organize the medical camps. So like this, internally the welfare, once organization increases its production, enjoying the good profits with the name and fame, it was ready to provide the internal economies like different branches and funds, maybe the housing facilities, education and medical facilities. So which will use a support, or maybe a one type of uh, good impression to the employees, where the workers will work in a efficient manner, and also the workers will loyal to the organization. They themselves will feel that it's our organization and they don't want to leave the organization, and they will work with a good loyalty. So this will helps the organization to sustain the experienced and improved faculty, experienced and improved faculty, and which helps in raising the production and the reduction of cost. So those are the different types, maybe like technical economies, maybe we have seen like the technical, maybe managerial, maybe like marketing economies, and financial, risk bearing economies, and welfare and research economies. So these are the different types of economies what an organization will enjoy internally. The people, management, each and every person within the firm, four walls of an organization will enjoy these internal economies. And the next value comes from the external economies, where the business firm enjoys the number of the things from external, means they are not internal. These were already we have discussed, these will be get due to the industry, means the expansion of industry, total expansion of, yes, expansion of industry, we are able to enjoy the economies. So that is, there are the different types where we can discuss, like economies of concentration. The first one comes as it is an economies of concentration, that when an industry was concentrated at a particular area, when number of firms are there, so it is easy for the labor to approach. Maybe skilled labor we are able to identify, and improved means of transportation. For example, we used to see these economies of the scales or concentration is favorable when there is a rich availability of any one factor of production. For example, for cement manufacturation, we require clay stone. So where this clay stone is will be there, it is at the underneath of the earth. So where these clay stone coal mines are there, mining was there, or area where it is rich in clay stone, in that surrounding areas, we are able to identify that industry. Means concentration. Maybe for example, in AP Jagepeta, we are having this area is very rich with this clay stone. So based upon that, surrounding areas, all types of cement industries has been manufactured or established. So that is called concentration. That is same type of industry may be available. Some industries where labor is more, like IT, technical things where we want a human resource more. At that area, all the type of required industries are available at one place. Then the people, the skilled labor workers will also come to that area. That is called as concentration. Here, due to that concentrating of similar firms at a one place or one area, particular area, we are able to get a skilled labor and improved transportation, communication, banking, financial facilities. And when that area is having concentrated, the government will also help in supplying power and other subsidiary benefits. Means this type of advantages, which may be the externally, but all these enjoys when they are located at a particular area or particular place. So these facilities will tend, means due to these availability, we can decrease the unit cost of the production by enjoyed to all the firms. Means the total cost or the unit cost will decrease not only to one firm, all the firms which are situated there, all will get their production or the cost of their production at a lower price. Next, economies of information. So this is another advantage we'll get from externally when there is a concentration of the firms at one place. So where we can see that it is in a information, means where we are getting the information centers. That is the which makes like a publication of journals, passing information, or maybe we can say like availability of materials, modern machines, expert potentials. So these are the different items or the factors which enhance the economies of information, such that those organizations or the firms which are needed that one will concentrate at that place. So it will benefit by these getting the availability of the information in a faster manner, or availability of the product or the machinery in the good manner. So we are able to, all the firms are able to be benefited, which helps in reduction of cost. Next, as we have seen the economies of welfare, we identified the economies of welfare in internal economies also. And the same welfare we can identify in the externally. Internally, what we have done, internally one organization, workers or the people will enjoy the advantage. But when it comes here in the external economies, the economies of the welfare, where the group of firms, workers, all the people will enjoy the advantages. That is industry, the total industry of that area will enjoy the welfare facilities. Welfare facilities. So, as we have seen that concessional rates or procedures, special facilities by the local bodies setting for housing, or colonies for the workers, or maybe like creating some health units, means when a group of industries are there, they go for giving of colonies, that is housing facilities to that people. Once housing facilities come, they will give the public health care, maybe the medical facilities. The students, for their children, they'll start like institutions, both general and technical, and with availability, means supplying of the labor in the availability of the industry. So we can identify in the external organization that many industries are there. So who has been giving the faculty, means a group of industries, maybe iron and steel industries are located in Vizag area. We can see like Vizag steel plants, where that itself is having its own housing facilities, educational institutions, healthcare for the workers. Why? Because a group of these iron and steel industries is located in the Vizag, and that enhance the people to get in a welfare by getting the colonies or other types of facilities, and which helps these welfare will helps the efficiency and loyalty of the workers. So, and another one is economies of disintegration. Disintegration means we are able, a firm or an industry, reap the economies of specialization. Means when production is large and we are able to enjoy, then these industry will expand and provides specialized firms. Maybe we can see that when these the best example where we can see like a cotton industry, where the cotton textiles has been located at one place. So one organizations or one industry was totally specialized in threads manufacturing. Another will go for spinning, another will go for dyeing, and another go for dhotis, production, shirts, maybe other things. Means one firm will not produce all the things related to all the goods. So one will have one type of specialization. Maybe cotton, will see some saris is produced by some industries, maybe shirts, pants and others by one industry, and maybe we can say blankets and by other industry. Means here by disintegration, means separating the specializations, they be the firms related to the same. The cotton thread will be the same, but utilization or manufacturing of the product will be different. So this type of disintegration will helps for the specialized firm. So which result as giving specialization and a well equipped machineries or technology, and at the same way providing an expertized product which we can have in a good or expertized production with the help of these economies of scale. So the above or the some of the external economies which in organizations, means a firm with the help of a group of firms, means an industry will enjoy within the expansion of the organization. So here we came by increasing the production, we have some sort of internal economies, and by a group of firms forms as an industry, and they will enjoy the external marketing, that is called as external economies of scale. So here what happening, whatever we are enjoying, only these expansion of the production must and should reach to a certain level. Once the production reaches to the certain level, means total capacity we utilized, exhausted, then though we increase the factors of production also, we can't get the advantages. Then more and more of implementing of these factors sometimes leads to disadvantage, which we'll call it as diseconomies of large scale production. Means the internal or external economies, whatever we are enjoying, will have some limit. So they we can't go on enjoying. So after some limit, they will disappear. So then the diseconomies will be starts. So we'll see what are the different types or the manner of these diseconomies. So as we know that the possibility of expansion of the firm may be limits, or when we expand the firm, as we know that cost will also be arises. So due to the increase of the cost, and internally when there is no advantage or all the firms enjoyed the economies, then we resulted in the diseconomies instead of advantages. So when the firm expand, beyond its limits, means proper limit. What I am telling, every production will have some space where the production will be stops, where we can't enjoy, and after that slowly the production curve will comes down. So when we have reached that limit, and beyond that capacity also we go on implementing or increasing the factors of the production, the efficiency will not be takes place. Instead of efficiency, the manager was able to identify the inefficiencies. So this is an example of internal diseconomy. As this firm expand or the industry expands, maybe the industry is also at one level only, it was able to identify the advantages. Though many industries comes, automatically that industry will also face some diseconomies, which we'll call it as external diseconomies. So the employment of additional factors what we produced may be less efficient, and they obtain higher cost when we goes on increasing the production. So in this way, external diseconomies will also result due to the expansion of the industries. Means how we are able to enjoy the internal and external economies, that is advantages, the same way once the saturation point was reached by the increasing of the organization, we are able to identify internal and external diseconomies also. So firstly we'll see that major diseconomies what we find in the internally. So internally, as we know that what in a individual firms or internally a business will enjoys. So as we says that internally expansion of the business, where the entrepreneur will first important one becomes across like financial diseconomies, means need of money. Though we go on increasing, the money cannot be available. At certain level only, due to our name and fame, we are able to borrow or get through shares, debentures or other levels. Maybe we have lot of production plans, we doesn't get the money from externally. So money gathering or getting the money is also one of the limitations and one of the diseconomies, though we want to increase the production. And another one is like managerial diseconomies. As we know, the specialization or management was able to manage the internal and external workers, means the supervision. Though goes on increasing the production, large number of the people, large number of the machineries, then the supervision problem and managing problem will occurs, and which leads us to coordinator. So the coordination between the workers, management will disappears, and totally internal problems will be arises due to the lack of coordination. The information will not be passed from the management to the labor to the management, and automatically problems will arise, which leads to the managerial diseconomies. And at the same way, marketing diseconomies, as we know that due to the expansion of the firm, the prices of factors of the production will raise. Means total, maybe I'm increasing on maybe the raw material, labor, maybe as we know fixed will be, the fixed factors will not be changed, but a variable factor goes on like raw materials, labor and other will, the cost will raise, and sometimes we are able to face the scarcity position. Once the scarcity position comes, already what we are getting the cheaper rate, the cost of these raw materials and labor will increase. So additional cost we have to make, and the total cost of the production will increase, and which leads to the market our product at a higher cost. Then when the competitors are there, they'll sell at lower cost and we should sell at a higher price. Automatically, marketing diseconomies, where the people or the customer doesn't like to purchase the same quality of the product with a higher cost. So the preferences will decrease, and marketing inabilities or the diseconomies will be arised. And along with that, as we know, the technical diseconomies, means technical disadvantages. So as we know, there is a limit for the division of labor, spelting, production, and if we fail in spelting, when many people are coming, large number of production where the coordination, lacking of the coordination, then these lacking of the coordination relates to the machinery, workers, whom should do work, where, what. So the planning will also be fails. Automatically, the maximum capacity of the plant exhausted and machineries all will comes into the troubles. Means repairs will occur when we utilize more and more of these machineries, which leads to the cost of the production will be increases. So those are the some of the internal economies what we have been followed. And along with these, we have another main diseconomies like diseconomies of risk. So risk taking is also one of the internal economy by the expansion of the firm. So with the lack of coordination, cooperation between the managers and the top management, sometimes misfire may happen, planning may go wrong, and decisions taken by the managers will also be wrong. Then automatically the risk, or that is the rate of risk in the organization, will increase, and it leads to the decreasing of the profits. And in the large firms, as we affected by disasters like natural or human made, so these are some of the constraint where the risk, the rate of risk will also be increased. So these diseconomies of the risk will also be there. So those are the some of the internal disadvantages due to the increase of the production. And there are some external diseconomies are also there by when a group of firms was located at a one place. So we are able to identify that cost of transportation maybe increases due to the congestion. Means by gathering many people or total was busy, where it is a very rush, automatically when you want to reach that area, the transportation or working, the cost will be more to reach that place or to work in that area. And at the same way, some phases, some organization may faces like raw material delays, labor delays. Maybe when more firms are concentrated one place, the labor is very less in that area, then the people will demand more to go for the work. As firms are more, one firm or the other, the labor can go for work. Then automatically the demanding from the labor will also be more. And this sending of the production raw material will also get a lot of time, and diseconomies of the market will be faced, and labor problems we are able to face, and some sort of problems like scarcity of the raw materials, or sometimes shortage of factors of production, maybe what I said like labor. So when the labor is less, costly will we has to pay more amount to the labor, capital, and sometimes financial requirements or power, etc. So there are the some, maybe we can't say that all are advantages, some diseconomies by concentration of all these group of firms. So in this video we have seen regarding due to the expansion of the largest firms, what are the advantages we are having and what are the disadvantages a firm or the organization will face both internally and externally. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.